Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we are here to talk about the newly announced Tom Clancy's XDEFIANT game. Now I have to mention how ironic this news is, right? I was out of town for about a week, I got back in last night, and in my previous video, which I recorded on Thursday of last week, I joked about how it would be so funny if after weeks and weeks of No Division news, something were to come out while I was away. And I kid you not, within half an hour of me publishing that video on this past Sunday, Ubisoft broke the news that they were revealing a new Tom Clancy game on Monday. I mean, come on. I'm kidding, of course. I'm so glad that we have new stuff to talk about. And of course, I'm just thankful to have a channel to talk about it on. But I thought that was pretty funny, so I had to mention it. Also, heads up, I'm sure most of you already know about this news. Like I said, it came out days ago. But like I said, I just got back into town. So this video is partly for those who may not have heard yet, and mostly because it's fun for me to put my thoughts out on this kind of stuff. But all right. Without further ado, let's dive in. So yeah, back on Monday, Ubisoft revealed a brand new Tom Clancy game titled XDEFIANT. And then yes, we will come back to that name. This ended up being the Battlecat game, the rumor, all of that, which we've been discussing on here for the past several weeks following that leak that happened back then. The interesting bit to me was that they dropped the rumored Division prefix on the game, despite Division clearly being the IP they drew from the most for this game over Ghost Recon and Splinter Cell. I mean, almost every map looks to be from Division 1 or 2. Half of the factions, 2 out of 4 of them, are from Division. The guns we've seen so far, all from Division. Many of the sound effects are from Division. The rogue icon is used for kill notifications. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter whether they labeled it as a Division game or not. In some ways, it's a good thing, because it means that all the flack that this game is getting can't, consciously be directly tied to the mainline Division franchise. But it did feel a little bit disingenuous to me in the reveal stream how little they credited Division for their inspiration. I mean, of course they mentioned it, but they kind of made it sound like equal with Ghost Recon and Splinter Cell, when really that's not the case from what we've seen so far. But that's just a nitpick. Like I said, ultimately it does not matter. If the game is successful and fun, that is what matters at the end of the day. So let's move on. What kind of game is this? Well, XDEFIANT is a first-person shooter, obviously a pretty big departure from the Division that we're used to. It's a mix-up of 6v6 game modes at its core. Some that were referenced were Domination, Ringleader, Escort, and some of those other ones that were leaked. And those are taking place across a wide variety of maps. And as I said, most of those seem to be from the Division. Some that I've seen personally and recognized are a Brooklyn Bridge Area 1, Times Square, Stolen Signals, Western Room, Final Boss Room. That was pretty cool to see. Somewhere that looked like a DZ9 graffiti area, but I'm not exactly sure where in Manhattan that one was at. Manning National Zoo from Division 2, and plenty more. It will be a lot of fun to return to the snow in those Div 1 maps, albeit in a different game. That'll still be pretty cool. The game is running on the Snowdrop engine, which is pretty sweet. Obviously, that is massive in Division's engine. I'm excited to see if any of those big avatar improvements that have been touted lately will show up in this game. We'll see some of those improvements. That would be pretty cool. As for the characters in the game, they're called Defiants, hence the name of the game. The enemy factions of the Division, Ghost Recon and Splinter Cell, comprise these different Defiants. Circling back, like I said, that's where they get the name. It's fine. XDEFIANT is a little cheesy. I don't know if they're really trying to include XD in the title or if that's just coincidental. I could care less about the context in relation to the game, but the name does seem like a bit of an attempt to attract COD's younger audience, given that the game will be free to play. Ultimately, it's whatever, but it is a little weird. As for the Defiants themselves, we've got the Cleaner faction from Division 1 and 2 now, I guess, as Assaults as your damage class. You have Outcasts as healers, we have the Ghost Recon Wolves as tanks, and we have the Splinter Cell Echelon as support. And the variety in abilities and team play between these different factions and characters seems pretty neat. The Echelon can have a brief period of invisibility. In the thumbnail, you can see someone gets a shield, the Cleaners get their flamethrowers, etc., etc. It seems pretty cool the amount of stuff you can do. But in the reveal, the developers emphasize that while abilities are integral to the experience, gunplay is first and foremost. And I think that's a great philosophy for them to have going forward. Speaking of philosophies, the developers spent a notable amount of time relaying their commitment to the project, which for me felt very good to hear. By the way, this is being developed in Ubisoft San Francisco, which I think is important because not only did they acquire an ex-Activision employee who worked on COD, but now Ubisoft is developing this big COD competitor in the same state as Activision. So I certainly wish the best for them and this to succeed. But back to those philosophies, they emphasize how they plan to listen, implement, and evolve this game along with the community over the years to come. And part of a show of faith on that promise was their announcement of upcoming testing, which they did not provide a release date for XDEFIANT, but starting on August 5th, there will be a closed test for PC for people in the US and Canada. You can register right now on their site. I'll link that down below if you're interested. You can sign up for other platforms for future tests, but this first round is PC only for those countries I mentioned. And this is a very similar approach to what we saw with Heartland's announcement, where they offered testing sign up the same day the game was announced. But unlike Heartland, XDefiant released, obviously artwork, gameplay like you're seeing in the background, and actual information about the game, which we still do not have from Red Storm. So it raises some question about the two projects' timelines and when they may finally release. But I'm going to do a separate video about that topic soon, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so that is the majority of the important information about the game itself. Now, I just want to give my quick overall thoughts. I'm excited for the game. I know many aren't, and I hope that my excitement doesn't worsen your opinion of me in any way, but many have raised the question, who asked for this game? Who is this game made for? And I can't answer that, but I can say this. I'm a younger guy. I grew up on shooters, those more, adrenaline-filled PvP games, and I've played my fair share of COD, Battlefield, and other stuff from time to time, and so to be offered that sort of experience in a game that's heavily borrowing and drawing from my favorite franchise of all time, The Division, sign me the F up. I'm stoked for this game. That doesn't mean it's going to be good. That doesn't mean anyone else has to like it. I'm excited for it, and that's what's important to me. Many are turned off by Ubisoft's crossover attempts here. As I said, it doesn't really bother me. It would have been cool to have this be a strictly Division brand game and to be able to add and label it within the Division universe, but perhaps it's for the better that it stays separate because of all the backlash the game has had thus far before anyone's even gotten to play it. Many are also upset by how this kind of violates the core ideals of a Tom Clancy game and property, namely it's ditching stealth and strategy out the window. While I can't say I really care about that at all, I understand, people's frustration with that to a degree. To those people, I hope you give the game a chance and you enjoy it, and I hope this creates a real disruption for the COD monopoly. I would love for this game to do well and to be received well and be a good game. That would only mean positive outcomes going forward for the current and future Division Universe projects, so here's to hoping. Alright, I think that's going to do it though, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts about Tom Clancy's XDefiant. Are you excited for the game like myself and typically enjoy the COD style of PvP, or are you more against the game and hold issues for it with one of the reasons I mentioned or another? Let me know all of that down below. I'm very curious on your guys' thoughts, and I'm expecting a very lively discussion, to say the least. Going forward, I do certainly intend on covering XDefiant on the channel, at least to an extent. Mainline Division projects will always take precedence, but I anticipate that I'm going to enjoy this game, so unless it's a total train wreck, you can expect periodic videos leading up to and after the release. But yeah, everyone, I think that's going to do it. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.